And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ESL Pro League. It's our first match of the night, second map for it's two best of ones technically, but Mirage just around the corner here. Yeah. I mean, both these two teams, Virtus.Pro and Dignitas, played a lot of this map. It's generally one of their most picked or most played, at least here. We talked a lot about what Virtus.Pro did well in that last map. Let's talk about what Dignitas need to do here to avoid another drubbing, as we saw.
Well, first they need to wake up. I mean, as we mentioned, they weren't really on point individually, and BP took full advantage of that, just running over them pretty much. Now, Mirage is a different map. It's a map that Dignitas traditionally is much better at, probably their best map alongside Cobblestone, right? So I think that we're going to see a closer score line for sure, and they're also better at, you know, moving on the CT side. They're not afraid to be aggressive towards mid. They're not afraid to, if they see that they're struggling on mid, take initiative somewhere else. So I like the style of Dignitas on this map, but if they don't step up individually, that's not going to be enough for them.
Yeah, I agree. I think Mirage will be a much closer affair. Dust 2 is one of those maps, especially if you start off on the CT side. It can run away from you if you don't get going. You're not getting multiple rounds in a row. I feel like on Mirage, are going to have many more options to actually bring to the table here in terms of the setups they can employ and actually having a chance to hopefully win a pistol as well, as they did in the second half, but obviously it was too little too late there. They need to get some footing into this one. Cajun B, I think he needs to be an influential factor going into it, especially on the CT side. He needs to be patrolling the map. He needs to find his confidence. He needs to be going for those picks initially. He's got to be the player stepping up. He needs to be the AWPer. It's a problem Dignitas have had in the past. For all their iterations of this lineup, the fact they don't have a solid AWPer, they finally have one, need to start using them effectively, and this is the time to do it. Mirage is one of the maps that can be very influential.
Cajun B made his first appearances for Dignitas actually just before the Cologne major there as well, and a lot of people wondered who'd be better off in the Danish swap. You know, would it be Kjavi or would it be Cajun B or their respective teams here? Have we seen Cajun B reach the level that he had reached prior, or are we still seeing him building up to that?
I think only on a couple of maps, pretty much, was where he took over the game, right? You would expect more from him if he indeed has, you know, a free reign, so to speak, right? If he is able to do whatever he wants to, if he gets the position he wants to, and is able to be aggressive when he wants to. So we definitely seen Cajun, you know, be a star player before, even in the earlier days of the Astralis lineup. So I don't see why it's not possible.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the spotlight's not on him so much. Of Astralis, that are obviously at every big event, they're making headlines every single time. It's a lot of pressure there. It's your own organization as well. I thought coming into Dignitas, he'd find some sort of form in terms of like, okay, now it can be my game. These guys, I'm the most experienced player here. I'm the one who can tell them how I want to play, and I can slot in quite nicely. For me, he hasn't lived up to expectations in that respect. It's not like he's doing bad at all, but I expect he's got a much higher skill ceiling than what we've seen so far in the Dignitas lineup. The thing is as well, Matchday, another new signing for this team, I'm expecting a lot more from him in terms of what he can bring to the table. He definitely has got the potential to be one of the best players in Denmark. When we first saw him in December last year, he seemed like he was going to be the one lights out player, young star coming into the scene, and it's kind of dropped off. It's kind of one of those stories. Happens to a lot of players, like AZ, for example. When he left Dignitas, we're expecting him to carry on that amazing form and just go right to the top and kind of get to the dizzy heights of the top 5 player in the world, but still very good, but just kind of has plateaued a little bit since he joined a bigger team and had more exposure.
Are these two players, Cajun B and Magisk, in your opinion, lacking infrastructure in their team to allow them to perform, or can you isolate it to an individual level in both their cases?
I don't know, to be honest. I mean, it's always complicated when it comes to a team. We don't know how the team works right now, right? Sure. Whether they have to sacrifice some positions or anything for the benefit of the team, or they're just simply not, you know, on the top of their performance right now.
Well, we're hoping to get a little bit more of a insight into how they're performing, and this season is going to be good for just that, ladies and gentlemen. So Dave had a bit of a prelude. It is going to be Mirage, and perhaps hopes flying a little bit higher for Dignitas fans and players. But now we have to see if the proof's in the pudding, if they can make it happen. When we get to the map, we're going to pass it over now to Pansy and Natu to take us right in.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Deep waters.
Yeah, diving headfirst into shallow waters, more like when it's me. Mitch, stop yelling. But yeah, I'm actually very excited to watch this. Mirage, for me, was one of the first maps I became a personal fan of watching Dignitas play. I think some of their set pieces were always very interesting, very unique, whether it be playing ahead of the, you know, the default smokes, whether it be their pistol strat, where they went, you know, heavy on the smokes, nade the hell out of CT and just go for the straight faces. A lot of fun can be seen in this lineup. Predictable, you may add, but we'll find out. Virtus.Pro, obviously, classically very good hit too.
Yeah, and I feel like this map just plays for the strengths of Dignitas way better. This is a map where you can do a lot of those set pieces, and that's exactly what they like doing, and they're good at it. So yeah, definitely, it's a playground that they definitely made their map back in the day, but Let's see how it works out now as they start on that T side.
Yeah, and it looks like we've got another set piece, but it's going to be undone a little bit here with Bialy and Taz. The problem is they've gone kind of aggressive early on. Dignitas have taken over mid, a quick play towards connector. Cajun B looking for the punish. Taz is very low, Snacks is very low. Now, MSL's having to deal with those two. He can't use his molly for the intended purpose. He gets overwhelmed. So now they lost out on some control, but they've got the bomb plant and they have some form of mid control. So a bit of a topsy-turvy round so far.
This is very interesting right now. The positioning, if you look at the minimap, are almost opposite for what you used to.
Snacks just got away with murder. He's just behind Config as well. Config didn't quite check down into that CT corner, so that can cause problems. Config still turns around and gets a shot. Not sure how that worked out, but it's a 4v4 now. Bomb still planted, and the remaining players are in a fairly decent position for here for Dignitas. Virtus.Pro will have to play back into this, and the retake is not going well. Pasha's still in a very good position of power, I guess, HP-wise, but positioning not so keen. And there you go. Nice shutdown from Cajun B. A good start for that man individually. And one of these really nice set plays from Dignitas that I love watching.
Yeah, well, it's just a cool round in general. The VP pushing Palace, and then Dignitas going through connector to A, and then kind of the positions were reversed. The CTs where the Ts usually are, and the opposite. And then the after plant situation just became very hard for Virtus.Pro to make it happen. And as you can see right now, VP has opted to go for a 4 spot here. So the Max 7, Pasha likes, he is a Max 7 left for sure. I predict he's going to be jumping by that B plateau.
Yeah, a bit of a 2-on-2 kind of beginning for Dignitas as well, just kind of spreading themselves out quite passively throughout the map in a way. You've got, you know, 2 players looking towards underpass, you know, maybe holding that B push-up. You've got SMF over by Palace, and just going to try and clear through the map as, you know, as they can pretty much.
Yeah, very respectful positioning right now. Just waiting for any potential pushes here for the first minute or so before committing anywhere. Cajun just holding middle, and Config is joining up with him. And they have a bomb in middle, so still leaves a lot of options. Dio, though, with the Deagle, he could be problematic if he gets those one-shots going on, but he does not. Instead, he gets destroyed by Cajun.
Yeah, the issue now being that Virtus.Pro have a lot of their players towards A, and playing through connector, pinching in through Palace, it can be incredibly uncomfortable for any sort of team to try and hinder that, especially with limited amounts of weaponry beside them. But let's see how they approach it. Dignitas aren't going for A. They've got players going up through, you know, ladder room. You've got Magic working through B, you know, B apartments as well. Pasha's still there, so if they go towards B, there is going to be that threat on the table. You know, that Max 7's great at holding the sights, not so great on the retake, of course, but it can certainly shine here. Now, Config's got the ball on short, and KGB checks it. He is the experienced member here. He is not allowing Pasha to get away with that. This is extremely clean, very respectful as well. Dignitas not taking this lightly at all.
Yeah, I like how they just walked in there without making a single noise, and they checked every single corner and make sure they get the entries and not lost a single member so far in the second round. Still, with his task left, there's still 5 Dignitas members alive, and it's looking like it's going to be a clean second round here.
Yeah, MSL can go hunting. That's his whole kind of gambit into this round. He has the SMG. He wants to build up that money, get some, you know, a little bit of a buffer as early as possible.
A scout, if you will.
Exactly. Now, whether or not he can do that, yet to be seen. The CZ can still certainly hold its own with the armor to supplement too. So again, you want to be cautious. You don't want to lose out on the rifles, but you also want to take this away from Taz. Him keeping the armor, we saw what damage can be done. There's the first little step. Now that just has to be a little bit more respectful. Leave the others to go in first, and MSL will be the one to find it. Nicely played, very well rounded, and now they can upgrade to however they please.
Very methodical. Just holding position first, seeing if VP do anything, and then go into middle with Config and Cajun B. Eventually, MSL goes into connector and just scouts out a little bit, sees what's going on there. The rest of the team just goes towards B, literally just walk into the bomb site without making any noise, using any grenades. Take care of Pasha early on, and don't lose any members at all. So that's a perfect anti-eco round there for Dignitas. And now, as we can see from VP, they have heavily stacked this A bomb site. They have a flash on Neo. So the whole idea is that if they hear anything coming from A slope, they're going to pop flash and just try to attack that possible strat from Dignitas. But that's not happening. It's going to be a very similar round from the Danes.
Yep, absolutely no commitment anywhere. Playing off a little bit of feeling, a little bit of, as you said, that methodical checking kind of way of, you know, clearing out the map as they go. They've got that mid control now, with MSL being, you know, in underpass. You've got the 2 players coming up through middle. And Neo's trying to spot this out. He's been the one kind of, you know, working around it. He's got the flash to maybe give himself an escape if he needs to, or just buy a chance.
Just goes to say how, you know, how teams really approach this anti-eco round nowadays, because they are very dangerous. So you take the same kind of precautions as you would against a buy. You pop flash into a connector, and MSL goes in peak. And now he's going to see under the smoke, gets a kill. He sees more. It's going to be a pop flash coming in from the CTs too. But KGB with those 2 kills is going to make sure nothing's happening. It's going to be another clean one here for Dignitas.
Cajun B, the cleaner. was the previous Astralis title they gave him, and MSL finds 3 that round with the SMG. So stuck himself on that one, the MP9 there, and it's worked out really, really well for himself. Almost up on 10k, so that could be an AWP dropped out here, possibly for Cajun B if they fancy it. Or maybe he can just buy himself an AK and stick being the bank. I'm wondering if he does upgrade. I'm hoping he does.
Well, usually if you stick with an SMG like that, then you might go for some kind of a straight-up push, and it might be exactly what's in the works right now. They do all head towards that A bomb site, and they're getting ready for positions to throw some smokes in.
Let's see if it's the default smokes, if they do the closer
Yeah,
line.
it seems like it's going to be the stair smokes. Stair smoke and then in front of connector and just plow in before they land. So this is classic Dignitas.
Yeah, this is as you like it. As soon as those smokes go off, they're already in the site. And Bialy's well aware of this. Plays well from the triple box, but he can't do much more than that. 2 is a big bit of impact from him. It's brought it down to favorable numbers here for VP, but the bomb's going down in default. Not be able to be really seen from the ramp area, so Cajun B is going to have to either catch the cross or hope he can get a good play into this. MSL. Got to be careful here. He's in a really awkward spot. He's got a player towards jungle, a player on stairs, 1 CT. He gets just pretty much timed in that, and it's down to Cajun B. Big performance so far, and it looks like he's going big again, but he can't get the final player. No. Snacks is there, gets the AWP, and he should have time for the defuse.
But that's a good round for Dignitas still, because they didn't lose a single member. They have plenty of money to buy into the following round, and Virtus.Pro just lost everyone except for Snacks. So there's a massive potential here to reset Virtus.Pro. And Dignitas went for that classic Dignitas strategy where they would smoke on top of stairs, they would smoke in front of connector, and as the smokes were coming in, before they landed, they would just plow into that bomb site. Almost worked out too.
Almost, it was close, but
I think this is still a fair enough situation for Dignitas because they can still reset Virtus.Pro in this one.
Yeah, that's the big thing here. You look at it here with Virtus.Pro, their money is very shoddy. Luckily for them, as you said, Snacks was the one to stay alive. He did, was able to pick up that AWP as well, so still decent enough and going back in on what looks like the default A here.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be all the same. Waiting for the smokes here to come, and they come in a similar fashion they did in the previous round.
Yeah, Compig's the man just straight in. He's not messing around. He just takes that full fight. Now the smokes are in place. They should be able to get the bomb down. Bialy finds a fantastic angle to deny Compig any more freedom, and Taz looks for something similar. Bialy catches that SMF somehow. Not sure how he got that one. Taz lingers in through the smoke. This is a little sloppy now from Dignitas. Not quite having that punch, not getting the kills they need. The bomb plant's fantastic, but if you can't hold the retake, you're missing out on half of the whole battle here, pretty much. So now Magisk and Cajun B both playing from the same spot pretty much here. Magisk can be the first to kick things off for them at least. Lots of flashes left on VP though, look at that, completely blinded up. Magic's still trying to do what he can, but while this happens, Neo is defusing. So this should be a round done for VP. Well played by them on the retake there.
Yeah, a push coming in from Dignitas, but they just couldn't hold off Virtus.Pro. The players were playing with the edges of the smoke, coming in, getting the important kills, and just leaving 2 guys from Dignitas against 4, and they couldn't fend off that defuse. So it's going to be Virtus.Pro surviving that situation where they could have been easily reset. Now, Dignitas, having those 2 clean anti-eco rounds, still do have money, so they'll be fine here. They have not been play as well.
This is a very quick play towards middle as well. Gonna get 3 players across. They had the smoke put there already. I think that was possibly from Magisk, I think, put it down there early on. So that's not too bad. And they do like to do that kind of deep smoke to connector on the other side of things so they can still peek into connector. Config going to use his towards window, try and deny any sort of vision from Snacks. You see MSL put one down as well. Going to keep Taz at bay. I don't know if that's going to fall on the other side of connector, or if that, yeah, that's the other side connector smoke now put in. So Taz is isolated on his own, so he can't back away too comfortably here, and that's why they want to try and get that pincer in. We've got Config going in on the close peak, doesn't expect Taz to be there. Again, Virtus.Pro getting away with some of these moments. Now Neo's got a good position from ladder him. The smoke's giving him some cover, but now MSL trades it back in. We're in a 4v4 now. Neo looks to take the advantage back. Cajun B doesn't expect this. You can't expect that sort of stuff, but Neo takes the advantage and puts it right back in the hands of VP.
Yeah, VP just relentlessly trying to hold off, keep that middle in control. Even though they lose a member, they still go for the fight now. Snacks in world of trouble. They stack up through connector, and then from SMF, who comes from Palace. And now it's becoming a 2-on-2, but a 2-on-1 now. Bialy getting that kill all up to Magic's point.
Lovely work there, just predicting Bialy to still be on the site. Completely respectable work, but now the Mag 7, this is where it becomes tricky with this weapon. Playing on those retakes, it doesn't play to your favor, but there's guns galore. You can pick them up and play off the back of it. Now, Magisk, where's the plant for? Well, doesn't matter. He's going to land the shot. Pasha goes down, and The recovery is brilliant from Magisk, a player who's had a lot of attention put on him early into his career. You know, you saw those incredible moments from him skill-wise, and as soon as he joined this lineup, everyone's like, all right, this is the real deal here. Now we're going to see him really flourish, but he was a bit quiet. Didn't take the limelight as we expected, but that's the sort of potential he can bring.
And now, that was the battle of middle we all were waiting for and expecting to. It was Dignitas that came out on top of it, and Matchday with a nice 1-on-2 to end it all. Now, Dignitas are in a favorable situation. However, Virtus.Pro have still bought something here. You know, has an op. So he needs to do a lot of work. That's a good way to start things. He gets a kill on a Matchday. That's a solid 400 damage you do with a headshot with an AWP. Well, that's more than enough, too.
Oh, no, this is awful for Dignitas. It's all gone wrong. They tried to play into it, they tried to do what they can, but now it's down to Cajun B in the 1v4. He's got the weaponry, he's got the talent, but he can't get the job done. Well played from Neo there. Wonderful usage of what they had. Just he went on that crazy investment towards the AWP, he gets it back, and you know, I'm always a big fan of seeing Neo AWPing. You start to see glimpses of it on train occasionally, you'll start toying with it again. And he brings so much to the plate. He doesn't even need to do it on a regular basis, but when he picks it up, that guy can really deliver.
Well, we all know Dignitas likes to go for those straight up A plays, and Virtus.Pro doing the gamble. A lot of people on that A site, and getting all those kills, and everyone else chiming in as well. It's going to be the unexpected round going the way of Virtus.Pro. Now, it all resets, comes back to default here for Dignitas. Matchday, though, is trying to make himself known here towards the B bomb site.
Yeah, he's shown a lot more. He's gone way further ahead than previously, and that's pulled the likes of Snacks over, kept Neo very attentive towards short. So in theory, it's actually playing its role.
Yeah, and baiting off the grenades. That's one of the parts too. Try to make sure that they don't have a lot of grenades to play with once the attack comes in. That helps also. You get a entry kill. Makes things a lot easier.
So now Dignitas are working out a good picture to this. They found Snacks. They know he's been playing towards middle. They know that Neo's on short. They've got to expect Pasha still by B, whether it be with a Mag 7 or not, you never know. But they're starting to unravel the picture now. It looks like they want to try and posture towards A. They have the connector control. But the problem is MSL's alone here. He could be in trouble. Bear in mind, he's got the bomb, so Bialy's been big in this position as well. He's been able to lock down several players. Don't ride him out of it. Taz has no armor. So again, he could be in trouble, but he's going to try and make the most of it. Bialy gets overwhelmed. SMF with fantastic timing, working off the back of ramp, but now he's down to the 2v2. Pasha's still standing. Neo's still alive. It's Pasha against Magisk. Will he predict the CT position? Pasha out in the open. Gives it away, and Magisk would make the most of that. Every day of the week, recovers the AWP as well, but that's, again, very, very close stuff.
Another classic one there, Dignitas taking mid control, and then basically, after a trade of kills, they send 3 people towards A, 1 palace, 2 slope. And again, trade of kills, once they come to the bomb site, they are the ones who come out on top. Matchday, once again, same with the day there for the Danes. And now this time around, Virtus.Pro is going to be on a save one.
So, as this is a save, and if it gets interesting, it gets interesting. If it doesn't, how do Virtus.Pro play against that sort of mid-control? Once you gain that sort of mid-control, do you have to push through palace? Do you have to try and win it back elsewhere? How do you generally have to approach that?
There's a couple of options. One of them is, you just basically pop flash over slope. You go in there, you make sure that they're not going to be able to just set up, come from slope, or you take over palace, or a late mid-take, basically. You fight off, then you fall back, and then you'll have a system of a couple of flashes. You just come in, you take the fight right there and then, and you basically just hope that you're coming out on top of the trades.
I would say the one's a bit of a different factor to the normal kind of situation, being the fact that Magisk is landing shots like a champion. He's denying that B aggression a lot there. He's making it hard work, keeping them present. So again, you don't see it every day of the week. We've said this before. He doesn't often have those big games at the moment.
Yeah, I think he had 4 kills that round, including a teammate.
And here we go. So mid-control 1, Dignitas go A. And VP have to kind of respect that. They only have the pistols, they don't have the armor, they don't have that, crazy AWP purchase. And it's just, it is what it is at this point. So for them, if they get guns away, that's great.
Psychologically speaking now, Dignitas has established the fact that when they go for mid, most of the time they've gone A. So that could play in the heads of Virtus.Pro and something Dignitas can exploit in the later rounds of this half. Especially if you lose that one man, you might want to send 3 towards A and just leave 1 into B, making that a point where Dignitas could actually exploit it.
See if that comes in. I love a bit of mind games. Always fun to watch when you see the
Part
teams.
of the game.
Yeah, it's underrated as well. I think a lot of people don't necessarily see it, but when you see the 2 good, well, I say 2 good in-game leaders. You got MSL, very known for how he approaches the game. Virtus.Pro, it's kind of hard to see who's in-game leading at the time. They've definitely changed roles a lot. You've got Cuban is there in the background, so you get a lot of influence, a lot of members with a lot of say and a lot of experience behind them. So again, it's always quite fun to see them going back and forth. How do they read into it? How do they change things around? What's their approach later into this one? Is it that ramp aggression? Is it a different approach? Is Bialy going to just go straight out mid? What's the play going to be this time?
Yeah, it's been a very good first 9 rounds for Dignitas. It's been 6-3 up. They've been winning the right rounds to keep Virtus.Pro modest. Now we see Snacks coming in to connect with that op, and I thought he would connect on that, but apparently not.
Yeah. Bit of a shame there for him. That would have been a nice start. He's been denied a lot of control from window. You know, the smokes have been consistent. The pressure's been there. He went for that peek through connector, trying a little bit of adjustment. Didn't quite work out for him. But Dignitas, again, have mid control. But how do now they take it towards the sites? That's the next big interesting factor here, is how do they then break in? It's all good and well to get mid control, but there's not, funny enough, there's not a bomb site in mid, so you still got to get to the sites. So, we've got Bialy pushed up by ramp, Snacks watching connector, Taz quite passive towards window, and Dignitas looking for their options. We saw that slow walk into B before.
Yeah, and right now, they're just checking every corner, making sure there's no one lurking away from VP. That opening kill from KJB is going to make things a lot easier for them. Though, as we can see right now, Virtus.Pro actually way more stacked towards that B bomb site. The bomb is on catwalk, but it's making its way through connector. So, it seems as though Mr. Bialy is going to be under a lot of effort here.
I think Taz just spotted MSL as well, but MSL came back to check as well. There's Bialy gone. He was a player up by ramp. And MSL is having a big game individually. You know, a player who comes under a lot of scrutiny in the fact of his individual performance. His Dust 2 play was actually pretty decent as well. And we're seeing a nice round here from him as just to close things out. 3 kills. And obviously being the puppet master, some people will often say you don't have to be as prolific on the scoreboard. But these days, it seems as though you do need to be able to pull your own weight as such.
Yeah, and Cajun's really pulling his weight too. So you got 14 kills. Making that long barrel work.
Shut up. Don't look at me when you say that. I knew you were going to do it as well. I'm done with this. But the 2-1-2 going to come out. This looks like as how Dignitas like to approach maybe that aggression, how they like to play against the anti-ecos. If there's that stack, if there's the aggressive play down ramp, they're ready and waiting. You've got Config playing very passive by ramp. You've got SMF perpetually playing through Palace. He's been up there almost every single round, and Config spots out one. They start to get the info building. They start to see what the plan is from Virtus.Pro, and they don't want to lose players. Simple as that. But for VP, it's all about getting guns away, doing any damage possible.
And they've not really got a lot of that so far in this round. As Dignitas is actually going to be gathering up towards his A bombs. Like Bialy, it's going to go down by Config. So right now, as we can see, the whole A side is actually wide open. All 3 VP players are towards window and CT spawn. Still, it's going to be Dignitas utilizing these smokes, making sure that they get a clean entry on that A site.
And I like the way they're using the utility completely. Even if they're just up against those pistols, it is so needed at this point. But last time they did get outdone by positions like that. Neo playing on the edge of the smoke, Snacks having... Taz made a friend in Config there, but Config took him down after just leaping up on his head. And Snacks will be found too. So 4 players alive, the AWP recovered for Cajun B, and a very successful round there for Dignitas, not losing out on too much, still getting the bomb plant, still playing very well. VP need to come back into this. They do not have control on the CT side, do they?
3-8 down, no, they don't. That's a solid point, Lauren. They're losing this. They're looking human.
Well, you know what?
They're looking human.
After the first map, I'm kind of surprised, if I'm honest. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like, oh, it's VP. You know, they're playing that, that VP style, right? The one that works so well. It's so deadly to work against. And now the aggressions come out. There it is. Snacks has the opportunity through connector, comes back in to peek to Palace, but to be only be met by SMF. Not going to work out that time, but now VP in good position, stacking out towards the right places, playing aggressive. Neo's on the flank. These 2 players are in between a rock and a hard place, and now Magic's just left alone, 1v3.
Ain't gonna be easy, is it? Well, he's done a lot of work in this situation previously. A nice headshot onto Pasha as well. But only 36 HP left. Just 1 flash to play with. And the bomb is down as well. And it's gonna be a flank coming in from Neo to make things even worse. And that's gonna be it. Well, to be actually, it seemed pretty good for Dignitas because there was a heavy, you could say super aggressiveness from VP towards middle, where we only had 1 Dignitas player. And the rest of them were actually gonna be hitting that A site. So it looked like a perfect choice from Dignitas, but the guys that were rotating back fast enough managed to get the kills.
Did Magic have a good spawn? I guess he had the front spawn. I was about to say, like, I haven't seen him AWPing that much, and the mid aggression's coming out again. This could be interesting now. We've got lots of players here from Dignitas. This could get costly. There it is. Virtus.Pro regain some control. They've worked out that mid aggression. It's Snacks, it's Neo, pushing themselves up there, leaving SMF. Oh, no. Oh, dear. Nice recovery. In the end, he does get the shot down towards Neo, but he's in a 1v4 now. Not particularly winnable when that bomb's in such a bad spot here.
Yeah, it's very tough. 1-on-4. Doesn't even have the bomb right now unless VP players just throw this round away. There's not going to be a lot of choice for him to be had. And Pasha with the casual max 7 headshot to end it all. And there have it. Virtus.Pro with the second round in a row, having that heavy mid attack as the CTs. And Dignitas trying to take over middle fast on the T side. In that situation, it's usually the CTs that are favored. So for Dignitas, you might want to now slow it down because Virtus might be wanting to do the same thing again.
I wonder if they do that. Be surely a bit too brazen. But that's the mind games that kick in. Do they do it again? Do we play around it? How do we approach it next time? I'm hoping maybe a quicker split towards underpass to try and pressure those players coming up towards mid. It looks like Magic's already considering it, but no. VP this time, not going for that mid control instantly.
Yeah, well, this time around, Dignitas didn't have that op. But Neo, though, just taking an aggressive stance from Cat, gets the first pick on MSL. That's going to be one of the danger men going down for Dignitas. And Passion just, well, just dancing with the devil right now in the smoke.
And he knows that Magic has been pretty darn good at this. And both of the players here on both sides are pretty much holding almost the same sort of thing, hoping the other pushes that little bit too far, too quickly. Pasha backs away in time. Didn't get too much of an idea of what's coming his way. They're going to probably molly out platform, I can imagine, or towards the cart. They have chosen the car. It's down to the final two here. SMF is one of them, and now he's the only man standing. 1v4. He's got the bomb. He can get that planted. I don't think anyone can really deny that just yet. But Neo is on short, so as soon as SMF shows a little too much leg, it's done. No, wait. There it is. So
It's done.
It was done. It was you know, the 4 players running. VP have bounded back very nicely here.
Oh, yeah, I definitely have. Now, they've doubled their scoreline since the last time we were talking about this, when it was 8-3, and we were thinking that, yeah, this is Dignitas' game so far, but, you know, if they get that 7-round mark, then it's still doable for Virtus. If they win that pistol round, they can still work their way out of this. As we can see, Cajun low on money. He has to buy a Tech 9. So, no op in play for them this time around. Still plenty of grenades to work with.
Double AWP though on the other side, not going to be fun. Pasha becomes more powerful on B if you needed that to be an incentive. And it looks like Digger going for a bit of a B stance here, if I'm completely honest. 4 players going towards it. Pasha already finds one. He's not backing down from it either. He wants more. He's going to get it as well. There's the second. Can't find the third yet, but he's just going to be holding the window push. And it's a bit dangerous, but I guess he's got 12 HP. He can't instantly back away, but now here comes the pressure, and SMF does outdo him. The molly's on the side, so he can't instantly plant. There's a 2v3.
Pasha. Sometimes he just amuses you. 2-on-2 though. Bialy and Taz versus Magic's Boy and SMF right now. Taz trying to make his way through Kitchen, but gets caught off by Magic's Boy. Now it's all down to Bialy. Try to fend him off.
All right, Bialy. 1v2. You've got Magic's playing short. You've got SMF playing back towards the apartments. Good start. Bialy lands a blinder. That's Magic's gone. Now it's the 1v1. He knows SMF has got the AWP. That was shown earlier on, and that's it coming through. That's 4 kills for SMF there. Very, very good work from him individually that round. Finally showing that he has a little bit more to bring to the plate as well.
Yeah, but great half from Dignitas, obviously. You get 9 on T side. That should be plenty enough, but you know, Virtus.Pro, they are capable on T side. So
Very
still, it could have been way worse. They definitely made it work in the later part of that first half, but took them quite a bit of time to come into understanding how do we stop the Dignitas side. And
well, after Dust 2, it's quite nice to actually see a very competitive match between these two teams. We did see a bit of a landslide, to say the very least, on Dust 2. You saw how punishing that economy can get for CT sides if they go down early on, if they have to go back into that forced buying saga.
Yeah.
This time, a little bit different for both sides. So hopefully we get to see that competitive match following into the second half. So guys, do stay tuned. We'll be back after a short break. We had a brilliant first half between these two. A little surprising after what happened on Dust 2, but Mirage has certainly pulled through. Far more to look at between these two teams, and we're getting ready for the second half.
Classic Dignitas man Mirage. I mean, they're just really good at creating openings towards middle, and then they'll come up with that sneaky little A play when you don't expect it. And especially those defaults. I mean, they'll grind it into a 4-on-4 situation. They'll just fall back and then go for that A play afterwards and make it work. They trade effectively. They get the bomb down in even numbers, and they win the effort plants. And then you have individual plays from people like Matchday and Cajun, then, you know, that's the kind of score. That's the kind of scoreline you can build.
But Virtus.Pro are no slouches on their T side either. You know, Dignitas will certainly have their chances on the CT side, but if VP start rolling, if we start to see what we saw in Dust 2, it might be a troublesome side. And a lot of utility purchased here. This could be quite a fun one. So we've got the 2 smokes coming out, a lot of nades. And I wonder what the plan is here.
Well, it might be so that they are smoking off, similar to what Dignitas was doing. Yeah.
Oh, this is brilliant. So who's got the smokes here? So it's Taz and Neo. It looks like the stairs and the jungle smoke about to come in, possibly. And then the nade you place towards CT. This is almost your Dignitas strat. And then you come out towards A.
And Pasha is doing a solo playing B.
Oh, he sold the fake. he sold it pretty well. There's only MSL on this site. It was kind of like those a fake of a fake sort of thing. Now MSL is surrounded. This is beautiful from Virtus.Pro. Confirmed. And it's worked. Taz finds 2. And Magisk and Config are left in a world of trouble. Config's got a good spot here. Maybe he can get some work coming in, but I can imagine they might keep that in mind. Taz is already he's kind of peeking it, but he's got a rush behind him. Observer YNK. I was wondering why he was so good then. I'm not going to lie. I'm sorry, Rush. 2v3, though. Config on the way back in now. You've got the players from VP stuck into the site. 6 shot coming out from Config. But can he do any more? There is a kit on Magic, so it is still possible. He's going to go for it. They won't expect a kit to be coming out so soon. 3 seconds. 2, 1. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a defuse. There you have it. Dignitas, even though they got outplayed in that, the smokes came in, everything was working for them. Doesn't matter. That was brilliant stuff from Magic. Let's take the risk.
Yeah, and Config with a couple of nice shots as well, helping out there. And yeah, Dignitas coming out on top in the round where they certainly were not supposed to win that. And I wonder what is this going to be? Easy for Ents?
Easy obs. You know, that's the thing with Yanko. He's a hard-working fellow, analysis supreme, the weatherman. Now he's a little on fire, and now he's an observer. You know what I mean? He keeps everything going for him.
Yeah.
Why did we hire Rush?
I don't know.
Nah.
Very valid question. But Config is going to go in middle. Straight up fight. Gets 2 kills. Makes it 3. KJB also chiming in. And that's the end of it.
That is very much the end of it.
Anticlimactic.
Yeah, it was like, oh, it could be interesting. No. Nicely done, Yanko. That was lovely. He's come back in just smiling. The crowd's chanting his name already. And now Neo in the 1v5. We should get Rush on an analysis desk. That would be bloody hilarious.
I agree.
May not go so
I want to be a part of that.
Yeah, I think it's a good plan. All right, there we go. Magic cleans up, and we have a very good start here for Dignitas, bounding back afterwards. A very back-and-forth first round. They did, of course, win it, but they stabilize here in the second, getting a very clean one to follow this up now.
And now Virtus.Pro is going to buy with slightly limited economy. No ops in play, and as we can see, the amount of grenades also not too many to play with. So let's see what they can work with here. Seems like they're going for a heavy mid presence. Every single one of their players are going to middle.
Okay.
And look at this. Dignitas is just not caring about middle. They're pushing A slope right away. They were expecting an A hit.
Yeah, so a bit of a misread possibly now from Dig.
Oh, that's the easiest smoke, dude. You get paid to play. You're not supposed to miss that.
Yeah, yeah, that's not great. And now Config's come alive. This is now. I actually used to be a huge advocate for Config being one of those upcoming players, you know, kind of into the realm of...
Kind of still is.
He still is, that's the thing, but he's been kind of quiet as well on the same front. We've seen him eclipsed by others. Config, though, so far has been having a very good sign to the CT half. Whether or not he can keep that up is yet to be seen. But let's find out how this goes for VP, because they're kind of stuck in mid here.
They are, and they have absolutely nothing to play with. Just one flash, and that's it. Pasha also with 3 HP, so it's going to come down to aim duels, and they're a man down. So it's going to be a tough one here.
And I do like the read from MSL here. Maybe if it is going to be the A hit coming in, they haven't seen all 3 players. You kind of make the assumption someone's still coming through Palace for that kind of pinch towards A, and also puts him in a really good position for the after plant, or even stopping the plant here as well. But SMF can be found out. It's opening up options. Config, though, is keeping this one in check with the 2 kills thus far for himself. And Snacks is the one with the bomb. Config's now surrounded. Bialy in front. Snacks behind. Can he make it out in time? No. Snacks catches him in the heels, and this is where we should see MSL come into the play.
Exactly. I don't think Snacks will have an idea of where MSL is going to come from, and that is exactly the case. 3 kill for MSL. 12th round on the board for Dignitas, and another save here coming for Virtus.Pro. So they definitely couldn't work with that limited equipment there. Virtus.Pro, they went for the heavy mid take, while Dignitas was going for the A slope attack on the CT side. Pop flashing over, trying to check if there's an A strat coming in for Virtus.Pro. In the end, there was Dignitas that comes out on top. And now, this time around, though, VP has bought some smokes here. What they're trying to accomplish, basically, is to get a bomb plant. Get some extra money for the following round.
And I'm hoping they do the slightly closer smokes, almost the wall that you can cut through the site rather than the default ones, just because it allows... You know, if you buy this with Tech 9s, you can actually pull off a good couple of kills, but it doesn't seem to be the case. These are your... No, they're not the default smokes. They are kind of a little change. You've got the one on the site here as well, so they can plant in that if they want to. They can cross through a little bit easier, but Config's found a really nice spot. But it is trying to be spammed out by VP. And there's a follow-up smoke. So here comes the problem. Dignitas are right on the other side. Neo is planting it, though. And he gets away with it. Absolutely brilliant. They shouldn't be able to find much more, but they are. Bialy's still fighting, and Snacks now left in a 1v3. He has no gun to hand. He's surrounded by players. He still tags up Config, and my word, VP do know how to put up a fight, but a plant nonetheless.
Yeah, that's the mission accomplished for Virtus.Pro. That's all they wished for, and that's the most you can even have in that situation, unless, you know, a lot of things just go south for the CTs. Getting those 2 kills were just extra bonus. Now that means they will have an op on Snacks, who also will have a flash and a smoke to come with that, and AK-47s with everything you will need on the rest of the VP side. Now, let's see how they approach this. Seems like it's going to be another mid-take coming in here for VP. Snacks being the front man with that up.
And Matchday being the all-pro as well. I haven't seen it much before. You know, I'm not sure if it's a
It feels to me like every single pro player nowadays thinks they're a hybrid who can play with any weapon. And as I say that, Matchday gets the first one with that AWP.
And he at least trades things out for Config. He tried to go for that early aggression towards, you know, underpass, tried to get something going there for himself, didn't work out. And KGB actually lost the angle to Snacks there, and a bit of a needless peek back into it. He probably could have read into that better, but MSL has gained good ground again. This guy's been doing kind of unsung work, but I don't know how much he's going to get from it. He's only valid if they go A.
Yeah, that definitely was a lack of discipline there for KGB. He didn't need to do that. You are 13-6 up. You're in a 4-4 situation.
Oh god, they're coming back round towards MSL.
Yeah, this could get interesting. He does spot the 2 guys coming in, and now you gotta run away. But there's gonna be Bialy here on A slope. He gets the kill, and now only Magic Spoy and SMF alive for Dignitas.
Yeah, this should be VP's round. They shouldn't lose too much out on this one as well. Magic does still have the AWP, but can he deny the cross? I don't think. Oh, hello. All right, just hit that shot. Fair enough. What were you saying about hybrids? Huh? Okay.
Counter-strike.
Just CS things. 1 HP though, so going to be tricky for him to find some more relevance throughout this. Nice way of finding a new angle. Going to deny the cross off the bomb plant. He doesn't know that yet. He doesn't know that the player's locked in towards the site, and SMF has to uncover that pretty much. He has to run the gauntlet here to be able to find out. Taz just steps into it well, leaving Magic in the 1v2.
And 1 HP left. Not all too much he can do here, and decides to just fall back. That's the right choice at this point too. And well, there's still a buy in Dignitas too. They still have money to buy in the following round, so if he manages to save this op, it will be all good.
There we go. Finds a nice little angle to hold, and he'll be perfectly fine here. And on the other side of things, let's look at VP's T side so far. It's the first round they've broken back in on. They have been definitely going back and forth in these. It has not been a clean one so far.
No, I mean, you know, they purchased on the 3rd round, so they were very limited on what they had to play with. They went for the mid control, tried to get the first picks. They were hoping for Dignitas to go for the battle in the middle. They didn't, and then it kind of, you know, just didn't work out for them at all. Then they go for the buy smokes, a couple of flashes on the Molotov to make a bomb plant happen. They get that going for them, and now finally they had full gear to work with. And they also make that happen. Get the mid control and get the round.
Because VP are no strangers for being, you know, world class at getting mid control, CT and T side. So good to see that still being an incredible factor here. And it looks like, you know, it looks like your A hits coming in just purely because Bialy did have that bomb towards ramp. You've got Snacks, you've got Taz there. Neo can come through underpass, clear that out. You've got Pasha working through middle. It looks like that's what we're going to be getting. But nade comes out, finds its place very nicely in the pocket of Snacks. MSL going to be playing towards the dark side. In the dark corner.
Dark side?
Yeah, I was about to say, well, not what I had in mind, but now the problem is that Neo snuck himself up through connector. I'm hoping that Config's possibly aware of this. He is, and he catches him out. That means this A hit is now running out of steam. It's running out of players to pull into the place, but Taz, Bialy, and Pasha I don't see how many options they have left here.
Yeah, well, would Pash have been able to get that kill? So it might have been something in this, but now with only Taz and Bialy left against 5, would mean a massive catastrophe for Dignitas to lose this one out. But at least maybe Taz and Bialy can make some damage happen as well as possible. Maybe we get a bomb plant. That would help the cause for the following round, but they are very much down on the scoreboard, so that's their first problem here.
And Taz, you got a 1v5. No problem, mate. Bomb's not in your hands. Don't worry. You've got, I believe. There you go. Just smash config.
And 30, it's new 20.
If only. Config finds Taz in the end, and Dignitas take another step towards picking this map up. And after what was an absolute demolishing on the first, this must be feeling pretty good for them, to be fair, to recover to this sort of standard. And to be fair, it's not from cheesy strats or anything like that. This is a very competitive game between the two teams.
Oh, yeah. It's been a definite grind for Dignitas, and finally we've seen their individuals come into play. Something they were totally missing in the first map. It was all plow. Now, Dignitas config obviously having a lot of impact kills. Also, KGB working his way. Pretty much everyone on the lineup done a solid job so far. Now, as we can see, Virtus.Pro has decided to go for a force because they are 14-7 down. It means they only have 2 AK-47s, and they have some heavy mid-press going on, but KGB with a nice flick there off Neo to open things up.
And Bialy instantly looking to try and punish through ramp. He doesn't find MSL, though, and MSL's attention's been drawn away, and now this is the best pressure spot for anyone going through connector. It's always hard to play out of this if you're stuck in towards Dark there, and Ninja is very, very tricky. Pasha could have done something about this, but Magic found stacks in the meantime. Now he gets overwhelmed and just leaps into the situation, and Bialy can't find the timing right to get that pressure towards A, and it's another very clean round for Dignitas here, and the money will stay completely broken for VP.
Yeah, VP just fell apart one by one there. There was no potential for any trade kills to happen, and Dignitas just doing great work there. It's a small detail. They're just doing them perfectly right now. They're boosting on top there on catwalk, and they get the pick in the middle, and then the second guy trying to go for the retaliation doesn't even realize there's going to be 2 guys there on the catwalk. Gets dismantled, and lastly, one guy coming out from slope, and this pop flash doing some work here. Config gets the first pick. That
was lovely. I think that was over the top of A ramp, so that just allowed them to peek towards the setup that was meant to be coming in, but Bialy's still doing what he can with that Tech 9. Snacks has a good shot of it as well. HMB's a little tagged up. They got to be careful. He doesn't get caught out. He can't find the cross. That was Bialy with the bomb. That could have been big, but now it's the 2v2, but the mollies are burning, and Neo catches out Cajun. But Bialy on 5 HP, it's tough to pull off. It's tough to imagine. SNF still has that molly. Snacks gets found, and there it is. Magis closes down on the final 2. And Dignitas are going to pick this one up. A brilliant performance from them after was an absolute slaughter on the first map. Recovering well, coming back in, showing why this is one of the maps that people get excited about watching them on, and showing that Virtus.Pro aren't flawless yet. There's still that online element. They are not the complete plow product yet.
Well, we still have to give a lot of credit to Dignitas, though. They're showcasing that Mirage is still their playground, and they can, when they're on, they really are hard to play against. Going for the mage control, and they work their way. Somehow they always manage to come out on top with the trades, and then they'll fall back and they'll go for the execute on the city side. They'll push ramp when need be, and on that last round, that's exactly what they did on the in the first round as well. And this time, actually, VP was coming for that ace strat, and it totally nullified the whole play.
And for me, the exciting factor is that people know what Dignitas do on that map, and yet they still are able to put it off and play it just as well. It's a very, very interesting factor towards it. But guys, it's been a pleasure to cast that one, but let's see what the devs thought about it as well, because that's quite a fun game to watch.
An interesting game, definitely, and a confidence boost for Dignitas there as well. I mean, we could start it off and make the obvious statement: winning 2 pistol rounds at a match is always going to serve you quite well.
What a difference a map makes, apparently. Like going from Dust 2, getting smashed 13-2 in the first half, coming over and having a very successful side on Mirage. It's kind of crazy to feel like that's the same team playing. Watching that back, it seemed like the key players are turning up. Magis boy, what a game that was from him! Like absolutely phenomenal. And Config as well. It seems that we wanted the stars to step up. It seems like Cajun's finding some form with the AWP as well. A great T side, like you said, picking up both pistols certainly helps as well. But it wasn't the only factor that they won it. They actually would pick up the pistol, then lose 3 rounds in a row. They're actually very good and efficient on their T side gun rounds as well. It wasn't like they were relying purely on that momentum alone. They were able to adjust themselves and coordinate themselves very nicely towards the A side. Good approaches in terms of the mid control at the start of the rounds, and just an overall impressive game. Just all things considered, that was a very good performance after getting battered on Dust 2.
Yeah, definitely. I was interested to see their approach in the first half on the T side. They actually decided in the first gun round to go for that execute with a bunch of smokes and everything, which is more viable in that particular round after VP forced in the second round because they don't have as many grenades for the retake, basically. And they managed to do the most important thing. Even though they didn't win the round, they managed to pressure VP's economy in the 2 following rounds they lost. So when they eventually won a round, they managed to break their economy yet again, and they had a pretty good control of it throughout the first half. And then second half, of course, starting with that miraculous diffuse through the smoke, certainly helped them a lot. And I'm surprised that VP, they actually only managed to get 1 round in the second half on T side.
Yeah, well, it seems like a lot of players were absent for VP, especially. I think Pasha in the second half, 0-8. And if you look over the other side, Config, he's actually getting, what, 16 frags in the second half alone. And like, there wasn't that many rounds played. That's actually a really impressive score margin to get. He was just completely controlling middle by himself. We saw the highlights just there, that mid control towards the connector area. He seemed to be everywhere on the map as well, winning a lot of the clutches, and VP picking up 1 map on the T side, which they're normally very good on. Just didn't seem to have the same sort of mojo they had on Dust 2. They could see they were kind of shut down across the board, really.
It's probably one of the most interesting factors on this map, actually, seeing the difference between both these two teams' T sides, even in terms of how they actually managed to execute there, because in a couple of the clips we saw earlier on, we saw Dignitas pretty much split the map over. A couple of clips, there was only players left at B there for VP that had control of connector, especially, and also that A side there as well. What's the biggest difference you guys can spot here between how these two teams were executing through mid, especially? Because Dignitas smokes a lot of smokes in towards mid window, on towards short and into connector, and from there, they were able to transition really well from that part of the map. VP didn't seem to have nearly the same amount of success.
I felt that, they didn't have that many rounds where they actually executed it, but, in 1 round, their timing was a bit off. The player from Ram getting caught off first, then Neo from Connector dying as well before they could actually, pinch them all at the same time. The other round, they didn't really have a really good buy. They were limited on grenades, so they had to, it was more scrappy, so to speak. And I agree that with Henry, Pasha is probably, the focal player in those rounds. Is he's the one sneaking up to ladder room, and he's supposed to, maybe backstab there or even make first contact if someone is watching for that, if someone is holding ladder room, for example. So all those things combined really made for a weak showing of VP on the T side.
Just like night and day, gentlemen, Virtus.Pro. Talk about online CS and what they produce for us.
It's so crazy to think that those the same matchup on the same night, those results coming in. You'd expect of that form on Dust 2, carry that in. We talked about the Virtus.Pro arriving, and I think this is on LAN. They'd probably carry that onto the second map, but it seems like a different team turning up. Especially on the T side, they seemed locked down and just didn't really have much to work with, relying heavily on the set pieces. The defaults weren't working out for them. Economy, lots of force buys coming in there. They kept trying to make the Tech 9s and the smokes work out for them, but just good, efficient crossfires and Dignitas. And the thing is, towards the end as well, what I liked about their CT setup was they were playing to win. A lot of Danish scene especially are known for when they start getting to the finish line and getting close to winning this game, they'll start kind of turtling together.
Playing not to lose.
Exactly, right? And they actually seemed, they were assertive every single round toward the end there. They wanted to keep crushing the morale of VP and not let them do anything. Going in, finding 1 or 2 kills, especially on the last round, I think it was, pushing lower ramp and flashing over and just denying any sort of execution potential. So it's good to see from Dignitas still having that in the tank after losing a big map on Dust 2.
Well, it was a very uninspired performance there from Virtus.Pro up on Mirage, and still they're 5-5 now. So again, still exceeding their last season's performance. But you talked about the lockout point, the losing eight matches or 8 maps for that matter. And Virtus.Pro are starting to loom on that particular horizon. They do need to check themselves and keep themselves in check. Otherwise, they'll be slipping away from playoff possibility. Guys, the Score Esports, don't know if you've heard about it yet, but it is an app that you can get on your i or Android device.
Tell me more,
of course,
Mitch.
you can download, I'm going to tell you right now, you can actually go to your respective app stores, right? That's either the iOS store or it's the Google Play store. It's not called the Android store, get it right. You can get your hands on that app as well. It actually says a little bit about esports in there as well. You can open it up and it has your results. It has articles in there as well if you do want to keep track of a CS at all times of day. That's your one-stop shop for all your information. After the break, though, guys, bit of a grudge match is on the horizon. Mouse Sports up against G2 in 2 maps. Going to be interesting to see how these two teams are tracking their own respective trajectories. And we're going to see how it all unfolds after the break.
That buys him time.
Right now, nobody really watching for Surreal, though, and he's able to move out and catch Arya. Asilian finds the trade. Surreal in the last one, but oh my goodness, just shuts down Asilian on the peak. And the last one, too, a 180 flick to shut out Red. Huge clutch from Surreal. And with that complexity, they've got the pistol round on CT side.
He did have slight allowance in the smoke to give him that shot, and Olaf walks back in, hits the headshot onto Nico. Now they've got a chance back into this, and Olaf's gonna hit Dennis. It's all on to Chris J. He does have the scout, arguably the best scout player in the game. There's the first one, but they're already onto the defuse. It's a kid as well in Lenker's hands, but he's gonna have to hold this all the way through, and Chris J's done enough to pull it back.
Teammates actually hunting for some info towards B as well. Now look at the icing, but through the smoke, of course, is Nico. He takes down Dennis. He gets a double and drops the bomb as well. What a player that was, and he wants more. Another headshot for Nico. Fantastic work from him.
Any more damage Kusta can do, it's unrealistic to think he'll win this, but just a couple kills, maybe just one. There it is, nothing falls. He knows what the two remaining players are. 5 seconds left, he gets that tapping away. He now knows where Sui's it, but there's only 2 seconds left on the clock. He gets it! What is this?
Wow.
Cloud9 throw another round away. They're just gonna head over towards the B bomb site and look at the SMG. 2 kills for Uber. Can he get more? He does. Another nice headshot. He's going for the ace and he does grab it. That is a beautiful sequence of kills. One clip.
He's gonna get the 1 kill in that bomb